Twilight Princess not only had some amazing dungeons, but in our opinion, it had some of the strongest boss fights in the entire Zelda series.
Yeah, Palace of Twilight was a really strong dungeon that both of us loved.
Great dungeon.
Overall, though, great dungeons and bosses, like you just said.
Yeah.
And then also, Twilight Princess HD is coming out for the Wii U, which
can't wait.
HD Zelda game. We're obviously very excited about that. So. The Twilight Princess boss ranking is a video we've wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah.
And never did, so we thought with TPHD coming out, let's go ahead and do this ranking.
We were due.
Yes,
we were due.
Definitely.
Now you'll notice while watching this video that we did...
That's an awesome video.
It is. I promise, it's awesome.
Yeah.
We did take the Ganondorf fight and split it into 4 separate stages for the ranking purposes. We thought the stages were different enough to warrant 4 different places on the ranking.
Now Zant, we really don't like Zant. We think he's a wimpy character, so we took him, combined him
It's
all
the sound
into
effects.
one. Yeah,
it's the sound effects.
It definitely is the sound effects, but we took him, combined it all into one because it really does, in all honesty, feel like the same boss fight, just different settings and different backgrounds.
Now please keep in mind, this ranking, including our opinions on Zant, are just that. They're just our opinions. If you disagree with us, feel free to leave a comment in the comments section.
If you see the individual, if you wait around to the end, you'll see the individual rankings where you will see that we disagree on this ranking and where the boss is placed.
This is our Twilight Princess boss ranking.
Let's go to the video. I'm not really afraid of spiders like a lot of people are,
like
but
me.
they're still kind of like you. But they are still kind of creepy, and that's one of the reasons I really didn't care for this boss.
Plus, it really did feel like just a ripoff of Goma from Ocarina of Time, all the way down to his name.
Yeah, just like had a little prefix on it. That was it. Now, I do like how the Dominion Rod was used to take that statue and pound down on the spider's stomach.
And like the effect of it's like just being flattened like that, I think it looks really cool.
That's how you want to kill a spider.
Yes,
it's exactly like that.
Now, I will say though, like the second stage of this fight was just running around as an eyeball like this. I hated it.
It was way too easy, and the music that just came along with it was ridiculous, and it really took away from an already crappy boss.
Now here's a great example of a boss that really fits the theme of the dungeon by having this like plant-based boss here as the boss of the Forest Temple.
Now one thing I didn't like is how he fought him on one side of the room.
Yeah.
I like we're able to kind of circle around the whole room and fight a boss.
Plus like there's this purple water in here that we don't have anywhere else in the dungeon that I can think of. Although I do like the waterfalls.
It doesn't make sense, but it looks a lot like Woodfall though.
Yes,
I do like how the boomerang was used. It used it very well. Like everything you could do with it, it used it very well like that.
And how about Ook, the mini boss?
Coming back to help us out too, but man, he's got some balls sliding across the rope that close to Diababa.
Oh, it would have been pretty depressing for him to just get eaten out of mid. Thanks for your help, but no thanks.
MORPHEEL, you could have been so much more. Much like Red Sex Life.
Hey, now, low blow, low blow.
But that's really why this boss comes in so low, because it was really just a disappointment for what it could have been.
Because it really actually looks cool. Like he's got these tentacles that look like they have electricity flowing out of them, this spiked mouth. It's just, he's a cool looking boss.
And how about they were actually in water the whole time for a water dungeon boss?
Well, it's well done. We use our Zora armor, the iron boots, and the claw shot all together in this boss fight.
In this second phase right here, when I first saw him coming out, I thought this was going to be something special. And it was fun, but I think for the fact that he moved around so slow, it just didn't make it as thrilling as it could have been.
For being one of like the main big final bosses of the game, the Zant fight actually ended up being a huge disappointment for us, and that's why he's so low in our ranking.
And the cinematic before this boss fight is what kind of did that for me, because the sound effects they have for him made him feel kind of wimpy.
I did generally like the idea of, since he is near the end of the game, of like going back and revisiting some of the previous areas that we fought bosses and mini bosses in, but I wish they'd have just stuck to like boss rooms instead of mini bosses.
And a lot of his attacks are very similar. I didn't like that part about it. And then right here, like, why did he really shrink on the ice?
I have no idea. I love the way he looks with these dueling swords though, and I thought
it's a cool looking attack. It is.
It really is. And just the sword fight scene in general, I thought was a fitting end to the fight.
this is just an awesome looking boss right here.
Yes.
And when he like growls down at you, like he's just so huge and massive, and then he's also on fire.
And the cinematics that come with this guy, like the opening cinematic of him ripping the chains.
Yes.
And then every time he gets back up, he like reignites all that fire. It just looks really awesome.
I thought it was actually hard to hit him in the eye because the color kind of blended in with his fire.
It does, plus the way he's moving around, it's kind of bouncing around and tough to hit.
Now, it didn't really make sense how Link could pull him down by a chain, because I don't think Link's that strong, but it still was kind of a cool concept.
It was a fun concept, and it was just something we hadn't really seen. And just to see this guy come crashing down and the whole room shake like that when he hits looked really cool.
And then how big he is, he's just sitting there helpless, and he can't do anything, you just stab away at him.
I just think it's really cool that finally, after how many Zelda games up to this point, we finally actually get to fight Zelda herself.
It's like we're getting our revenge for being in the friend zone the whole time, you know, for the whole series.
That's
but
so true.
I also love the setting of the place being in the throne room.
I like how they brought back the orbs that we had to bounce back and forth. And they keep bringing them back for every Zelda game.
I like the concept, but I suck at light orbs. So, like, you know, it's like a double-edged sword for me.
Speaking of swords, how cool is it to finally see Zelda carrying a weapon like that? Normally, go ahead, sorry.
I love dodging those flying attacks right there.
Yes.
I thought that was just a lot of fun. She would kind of circle around you. Like, it wasn't hard, but it just was fun.
And the Triforce attack, where like that triangle appears on the ground and blasts you, looked really cool.
One thing that I really like about this boss is that we have this huge beast, but then he still has the facial expressions of Ganondorf. And I think it's just great detail.
It is. Just seeing like that snout and those tusks that are just so reminiscent of Ganon from Ocarina of Time and Link to the Past. I love that little throwback.
I love how his weak spot is actually on his belly. And those like arrow shots, I could not get out of the way and dodge him.
But at least you kept hitting him though.
Yes,
so
that's true.
a good thing.
That is true.
I wasn't a big fan of some of the portals and the teleporting.
Yeah, the whole warping thing, like, how something that big disappeared? Like, the only time that makes sense is when I'm having sex.
But I will say, I loved like Midna using her hand to get that leverage and flip him over so you can attack that weak spot on his belly. Here we are, mano a mano with the final boss of the game, and man, how much of a BA does he look like with that armor and sword.
And you know, Ganondorf for me is just the perfect size for this boss fight. He's bigger than us, but he's not too big.
And I love like that glowing spot on his chest that's kind of his weak point, is a throwback to like that failed execution that it left a mark on him.
That's actually a good point that you bring up right there. I just love the sword fight because I thought it was very hard. And like using all the hidden skills, which if you didn't have them, I don't know how you fought this guy, but just a good, tough sword fight.
And fighting in this storm out in the middle of Hyrule Field, I just think it looks so cool with the lightning and everything in the background.
It was contained. It was in Hyrule Field, an open space, but it was contained, like, you know, kind of like a circular sumo place. This is probably my favorite ice/snow boss in the entire Zelda series, and the two themes we also get along with this boss are just great.
They really are, and the cinematic right before this fight where like the windows of her like master bedroom blow out and the whole room just freezes over, makes for a unique fighting area.
And just the room, like you see all the way up, you can see the windows everywhere, kind of talking about the cinematic. And then the second part here, being able to see the reflection in the ice is just amazing.
And fighting on ice like that, it made it tough because you keep sliding around, especially while you're trying to dodge those attacks. But it was something new as well, and something that was a lot of fun.
And how about the ball and chain? You give a guy something huge to break ice, that's just a tool or a weapon that we're going to have a lot of fun with.
This opening image with Ganondorf atop of his horse, it really sets the tone for this stage of the Ganondorf fight. It looks so cool.
It's one of the best visuals in the entire Zelda series, if you ask me, but this was actually a really tough boss fight at first.
It was just very hard to catch up to him and to actually hit him after you stunned him with your sword. It was tough, but fun.
But how about Zelda riding shotgun with us, and then also she had the light arrows, so I really like how it was used right there by Zelda. It was very reminiscent of the Wind Waker final boss.
It was. It just, anytime that she's contributing, and like, it makes it seem a lot more fun, and like you're really part of a team.
And then how about the setting in the open Hyrule Field, and also him falling off this horse right here is just another awesome visual. Well, first, let's just start with the backdrop of seeing the sky. That just looks awesome. And then you're fighting a dragon up in the sky in this awesome outside arena.
And I love how it really brings together, like you get the iron boots in the claw shot to pull him out of the sky like that and come crashing to the ground.
I love the addition of grass action and how it shows how hard the wind is blowing outside.
And then especially when the storm kicks up though.
Yes.
You get the lightning and the rain you can see in the screen. It just looks awesome.
And then the verticality of the boss fight, getting all the way up here in the sky, using your claw shot to shoot his back, and then riding him all the way right down right there and flipping off.
And I like riding these pea hats to try to stay ahead of the fire that he's breathing at you. I mean, is there anything scarier than a giant fire-breathing dragon? Not only is this our favorite boss in Twilight Princess, but it's one of our all-time favorite Zelda bosses, and a big reason for that.
Spinner,
baby! Just love that item so much.
Just circling all the way around him, dodging the skeletons, him in the spine to drop him down a little bit, which is a really fun concept and attack.
And the visual when we're riding around that edge of just looking down into the pit and seeing his upper body coming out of the sand was just epic.
And then how about the second phase right here? One of the most fun parts I've had in a Zelda game. Just jumping from side to side, dodging his attacks.
And also dodging the blade traps. Coming back around us. But as we climb higher and higher and finally bash him in the mouth.
And he falls all the way down right here, and we have to go all the way down to actually slash away at him.
It's a lot easier to put these rankings together when we actually agree on something.
Yes.
So to see our top two bosses be identical was a nice change of pace.
We really weren't that different over the whole board.
We weren't.
The only big differences that we had were MORPHEEL and Phyris. They were each 4 spots apart.
And I will say, I think we can agree that Twilight Princess had one of the best boss lineups of any game in the series.
If you like this video, and we don't know how you couldn't because we think it's a good video.
We do.
Go ahead and click that red subscribe button. It will send you to our YouTube channel where you see we post Zelda videos frequently.
We're also very active on social media, so be sure to give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram, and a like on Facebook.
If you click the video on the left, it'll send you to our Twilight Princess dungeon ranking. Clicking the video on the right will send you to our top 10 Zelda dungeons.
And clicking on either of the videos will send you to a playlist with all our Zelda ranking videos.